Thank you for taking the time to view this second in a series of presentations on restoring Bird River. In this presentation, we'll explain how to identify those who are directly responsible for correcting sources of pollution within the 26 square mile Bird River watershed. We'll also explain how to make a first request that the problem be corrected. Please hold your questions until the end. We can then return to the slide which prompted your question. So, what is a responsible party? Well, these folks used to be called polluters, but this label tends to get in the way of solving problems. Frequently, responsible parties are not aware that a problem exists or the impact it has on others. In most cases, the responsible party is the person or corporation that owns the land on which a pollution source is located, and the Merlin website provides the easiest way to determine property ownership. After Googling Merlin, Maryland, you'll see a listing that looks like that in the upper left. Click on Merlin Online and the website in the lower right will appear. Then click on the Interactive Map tab. You'll then see a page like this with a map of Maryland and the layers listing on the left-hand side. You have several options for getting to the property you're researching. In the search box, type an address or the name of a town, city, or a geographic feature like Bird River, then press enter. Or place your cursor over the area and turn the wheel on your mouse to zoom in. When you reach the vicinity of the property, then move the cursor closer to this point and zoom in further. Now we can see much more detail. You probably guessed that we're using the Bird River Beach Community Hall for this exercise. Now click the checkbox on the left, which is next to Parcel Boundaries /SDAT Data. The rectangles and other shapes represent parcels or individual properties. The red arrows point to the two parcels which make up the property on which the hall is located. Now, place your cursor on the bar just left of the map. Click and hold the click while moving or scrolling down until you see High Resolution Imagery 2011 on the left. Click the checkbox next to this layer. You should now see an aerial photo taken between 2011 and 2013, as well as the parcel boundaries should be visible. Now, click on the property you're researching. A window appears like this one. Next, click on More Info, and a page like this appears. This is the SDAT, or State Department of Assessments and Taxation, record for the property we're researching. The red circle encloses the information you'll need to write to the property owner. Note that the property owner's mailing address may not be the same as the property or premises address. Print this page for future reference or simply write the property owner's name and address down. And always use the owner's mailing address if it differs from the property or premises address. For three of the four categories, the property owner's name and address are all that you'll need to write a letter. Identifying construction site responsible parties can be a bit more challenging. While you can use the property owner information when all else fails, the true responsible party is the company developing the site and/or the contractor doing the actual work. If you're lucky, you'll see a web address on a sign at the entrance to the site like this one. At the website, you may find a contact person's name, email, and snail mail address. Googling the site name or phone number may lead you to this contact information too. If the site is partially complete and houses are for sale, then get the contact information for the company selling the homes. Realtors tend to be sensitive to public opinion about site appearance, including exposed soil. Since realtors don't want the site to get a negative publicity, they may be valuable allies in getting exposed soil stabilized. At many commercial sites, you may only see the contractor's information. If you can't identify a development company, then writing to the contractor is a reasonable alternative. Before leaving the first half of this presentation, I thought it might be beneficial to take a look at this listing of all the layers available through Merlin. Browsing these layers can reveal a wealth of fascinating information. Baltimore County's My Neighborhood website also provides property ownership information and much more. If you have trouble with the Merlin site, then give My Neighborhood a try. Now we come to the part of this presentation where we explain how to begin the process of getting pollution problems solved. It starts with a neighborly letter to each responsible party. At this point in time, we're only sending a letter to parties responsible for these 4 types of pollution sources. We're not writing to farm owners where cover crops were absent, or to those responsible for construction sites which have not reached rough grade. We'll get to these folks at a later stage of the restoration campaign. It's vitally important that our letters and other initial contact be cooperative and supportive. If we start off hostile and threatening, it'll be easy for others to dismiss our effort. If enforcement and elected officials see we try to work with a responsible party, they'll be more inclined to take action. I also believe that many responsible parties will eventually become allies in the effort to restore Bird River. Their support may allow us to achieve goals otherwise impossible. After this presentation ends, we'll give you everything you need to write a letter, including sample text you can use. In fact, it'd probably be best for these first letters if you stuck close to the sample text. Here's what you and your team members would do. 1. Look up addresses. 2. Modify sample text if you must. 3. Add names and contact information for all team members to the bottom of each letter. 4. Print your text on the Bird River Restoration Campaign letterhead you'll receive. All members would sign each letter. You would hand print your address on each postcard so it comes back to you. You would then add first-class postage. We're going to provide you with 34-cent stamps. If you could put the 49-cent first-class stamp on the envelope, that would help a lot. You would hand address each envelope, insert the signed letter and stamped postcard into the stamped envelope, and drop the sealed envelope in the mail. This is what the package would look like if you were writing to thank a farm owner for cover crops. The letter is signed by you and your teammates. Print your name and address on the postcard so it comes back to you. Print the farm owner's address on the envelope. You'll receive 34-cent postage stamps. We ask that you apply a first-class stamp to the envelope, then mail the package. The letter to those owning property downstream of eroding pipe outfalls is very similar to that sent to farm owners. Hand addressing the envelope is very important. Most people will open these envelopes first. Having all team members sign the letter is also important in that it shows the concern is shared by a number of people. And here we have the letter sent to those responsible for construction sites you found to be at rough grade with large areas of exposed soil. Both this letter and the other end by announcing that in a month or so we'll be taking county and state officials on a tour of the Bird River watershed. The letter implies we'll be looking at the construction site or other site during the tour. This should increase the responsible party's motivation to stabilize exposed soil. Finally, we had the other letter. Other sites may range from a bare patch in someone's lawn to an abandoned mining operation owned by a bankrupt or defunct company. We shouldn't send a letter about the lawn issue. Instead, we should develop a public education effort that offers assistance in reseeding lawns or converting them to more beneficial vegetation, which is known as bayscaping. For the bankrupt, defunct site, we may need to tap state restoration funds, but we should still begin with a letter for anything larger than that bare spot in a lawn. So what happens after we send off our letters? The team should plan on visiting the construction and other sites 2 weeks after the letter should have been received. Take photos of the site even if it looks like nothing has changed. Make another visit to the site 2 or more weeks later. Report what you found to Buzz or Janet after each visit. We've already set up some meetings with county officials, and depending upon weather, we may do the tour in mid-January. Please email or snail mail a copy of your signed letter and a copy of any postcards made back to you to Janet Terry at the address below. We want to compile a mailing list of every Bird River watershed property owner we've reached out to. Thank you for your time.